come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Give praises to Jehovah, from whom all blessing and knowledge will flow. Blessing and knowledge will flow. The Village Talk Show, dedicating to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life, helping each one of us in realizing our dream at any age, any point, starting from today, day. Success. Come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Success is not spoken, it is done. Success is done. Come on now. The Village Talk Show. Talk Show. The Village Talk Show.
Evening, family. Oh, the big dog is here too. All right, welcome to the Village, fam. All right, I see you're a guest in the back, so I'll bring you on around 7:30. All right, thank you for joining. Welcome to the Village.
Good evening, everyone. Woo! I had some coffee, Roderick.
Did you got it? You get it? Good. Awesome. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Village Radio Talk Show. I'm Roderick Daly. I'm your host. Joined with me this evening, we have Andre Doman, our executive producer and, fill-in host. And we have Dr. Joanne Bryant, our co-hostess with the mostest. And just want to say thank you for watching, sharing, viewing, participating on The Village, where we are dedicated to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through education. Helping us to realize our dreams at any age, at any point, starting from today, where success is not just spoken, it is done.
It's funny. It's funny you said fill-in host. I just had to laugh, man.
Well, John will be here shortly, so you're going to be the great producer, executive producer, and fill-in host, and just direct the path about everything. How's everyone doing? How are you doing, Andre?
Good. I try.
Spring break.
Huh?
It's in a couple of days back from spring break. So how's
that? Definitely. Dion, we see you in the back. We'll let you on soon around 7:30. Okay. You can't hear? Oh, not now. I would have to bring you up first. So you're good.
All right. I was listening. Well, anyway, so how was it after vacation? How are the kids? How's everything? Are the students? How did they behave? Hey, Andre?
Huh?
I was asking how the kids are behaving. Oh, by the way, welcome everyone to the chat. Welcome to the show. Thank you all the villagers for joining us.
Dion.
Right. So, thank you all the villagers for joining us and being here with us. So Andre, you're gonna have to text her, right?
Yeah. I just set that up. So I'm gonna talk to her in a little bit. But I was saying, like, the kids, they're pretty good. It's funny because some of them were teasing me about my bald head today. It's like, woman, grow some hair. Where you here at and all that. So, and I also want to say too, I tried Footprints flatbread just the other day. The shrimp flatbread. Yo, they're fire. That's all I say, man. They're fire. So it was really, really good. But so I'm gonna talk to her a little bit and then I'll come back on.
All right. How was your week, Dr. Bryant?
My week was good. The last 2 days I was in school. So today and yesterday. So it was good to go back into a school building and say hello to the little people. So it was great. I can't complain.
In New York City, in Manhattan, where
I
did you
was
go?
in Brooklyn. I was in Brooklyn today and
Okay.
yesterday. So well, at least it's New York City. So that's the
All
great
right.
thing about it. Yeah. How was your week? Last
My week
week and this week with your little people's home?
Yeah, I mean, well, only one of them was home. The other one had his spring break earlier in March. But
Okay.
he, you know, those little rugrats, they went to for hit on their vacation. Both of them, I allowed for the first time
Mhm.
ever,
Mhm.
with the 5 boys. First time ever, one of them missed a week of school.
Oh.
Yeah, first time ever they missed a week. He missed an entire week of school. Well, no, he missed almost an entire week of school.
Where was he? Okay.
Right. And so
Carla, my student come. Oh, I missed this busy hallway. Welcome back, Carla. How was Panama?
Carla went to Panama for her. I can't see the chat, so
Yeah.
right.
Oh,
So
let me show.
Oh, you would have to. Well, you can see,
yeah,
but you have to navigate the phone to see it.
yeah. I know
And all
about.
our principals who celebrated yesterday was Principal Appreciation Day. So a special shout out to all the principals listening who are doing the heavy work, their
Mhm.
leadership, and also their AP. We never want to leave the AP out because guess what? Besides a principal is their arm, their right and left arms, hands and arms and things like that. So shout out to you all who are educators doing the heavy work because we need you to pour into our children so that they can continue to strive for excellence. Hello, Jalen, texting and joining and viewing us from Florida. How was your state exam, my friend? So thank you, our listeners, for tuning in.
Right. So there's a lot on topic, right? And one of the big ones right now is regarding the protests that happening
Oh,
across the college campuses, right?
mhm.
What are your thoughts on what's happening?
We started this conversation last week. We
We
did
did.
start this conversation about the protests happening and how
Mm,
it spread from one part. From it started at Columbia, then NYU, then it
mhm,
started picking up in UCLA as well, Rutgers, and all over Colorado, Arizona. So my question is, yes, they state that they do not want their university to send money to Israel. So, how does breaking glass doors, locking themselves, chaining themselves, gluing themselves, that's one was glued yesterday at NYU, hitting police officers in the face, fighting in the um, stating that it is protesting, how does that benefit and what is the end result that they want out of that?
You know, I'm a Martin Luther King guy and a Mahatma
mhm.
Gandhi guy.
Mhm,
Peaceful
Protest.
protests
mhm,
to create change, right?
mhm,
Um,
mhm,
doing sit downs, doing whatever is necessary on the passive aggressive type, right? Getting that done. Uh, President Biden, um, President Joe Biden, gave them credit, right? He gave them credit for protesting, and that they should protest. And there's nothing wrong with the protest, and I agree, full 100. There's nothing wrong with the protest. The problem comes in when it becomes violent, right? Which is what you're addressing. And it's a problem, right? It's a problem in America when we have to look at we have to look at the when we have to look at the what are we going to do to protect ourselves, right? Right, what are we doing to protect ourselves? And so to me, where are we going to go from there? And so America has a problem right now, right? There's a constant battle in our colleges, in our communities, anti-Palestine. And the thing is that I ask, and this is the question that I know that this question is going to scare everybody, right? This question is going to scare everybody, which is, I'm laughing because I'm at my son's baseball practice.
Stay with us, though.
I am. I'm laughing on because I'm at my son's baseball practice and he's playing left field, and the center fielder is his teammate. So he goes and he catches the ball and he pushes, and he's bigger than his teammate, so he pushed him down to the floor, jokingly, but still. So anyway, the reality of the situation is this a cry against the Jews, right? Is this a cry against the Jews? Or is it a cry against genocide and egregious behavior? How do we examine these behaviors, right? And I think it's a real, right? It's a real dilemma, right? It's a real dichotomy, right? That we have to look at. I personally don't look at it as anti-Semitic, right? That's not me personally. I think I appreciate our Jewish brothers and sisters. I think it's about humanity, right?
Yes.
It's about humanity. It's about unnecessary murders, right? These people are not criminals, just like the 1,500 people were not criminal. But these people, you've killed, tens of thousands of people have been killed already. Right? So when is there going to be like enough is enough? And I'm still at the point where I think that Netanyahu needs to be tried for war crimes. I'm still at that point.
What
Can you
happened?
guys still see?
No, you went black.
Okay, I'm still here. It's just that that's what I was telling Andre. That's why I don't like to use the my phone device.
You're back.
Yeah. So what are you guys thought? What are your thoughts?
I feel like, or rather,
Perfect.
I've seen these things over and over multiple times years back when wars happen. How many wars have led to protests like these on college campus, and what has changed? What will really change? And I'm wondering, in a few months, maybe after things seem to have settled down, will there be continuous action for change, or would some of the students who protesting possibly right now may just go back to regular programming? Right. We've seen this before. I think one of the biggest one or biggest protest on college campus that I recall was the Occupy Wall Street one. It was
I remember that
back in 20.
I was part of that.
Yeah, it was a big one, and Wall Street still doing.
Actually, no, Andre. The big one was just during COVID.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that was one I really remember, because even when I was in college, I saw that as well, and even with COVID and even with George Floyd, all those things really, what's changed. You might have a major leader might come and say, we're going to try and do this, that, and the third. And what happens a few months later, right? The reason why I brought up Occupy Wall Street is that Wall Street's still doing its dirty biz same way. Like you still have the struggle when it comes to income equality, or wage gap, and among other things. I do commend the awareness and the fight for humanity, right? Like humanitarian life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always concerned about, okay, when things seem to die down, what next? What's gonna be
Exactly.
continued?
That's
So
my question. And Carla wrote, you said it. It is an issue of humanitarian concern, and we are dealing with a different America and UN than in the days of Dr. King or Gandhi. So,
Carla brings up a very good point. That things do look different, and
Mhm.
that we have to think about, right?
So I'm gonna add to what you said, Roger. I have to agree that because you state, if someone says, "Hey, enough with this war, enough attacking, enough this, enough crime," it doesn't mean that they are saying they're anti-Semitic. That's the problem. That's that thin line, and they even created a law that went yesterday. So it about civil rights that if anyone say anything, it becomes a civil right issue that they can take it to go further and move further with it. The problem is it's okay for me to disagree with you. It's okay for me to have a conversation and a dialogue with you. It's okay for me to say, hey, I don't agree with what's happening in the war. A lot of innocent people are dying. It is not okay to say, hey, because I stated that, I'm automatically anti Semitic. That's wrong. Now, it is not okay for people to be burning other people's flag. It is not okay to attack one another. That's not okay. But it's okay to have a conversation, a dialogue, um, uh, uh, protesting for change. But beyond that, when it becomes aggressive, then it's a problem. When it becomes violent, then it's a problem.
um definitely agree. Maybe if there's one more point so we can get the guests up and we'll go commercial and get the guests up. There's other point.
I was thinking, a lot of Jews are also on the side of the humanitarian cause. So I want to acknowledge our Jewish brothers as well, and sisters who are making that effort to fight, right? We now have to ensure that the pressure keeps up. Andre, I just wanted to correct you. I mean, I was part of the Occupy Wall Street movement.
Mhm.
There are certain things that have been placed, right? In
Mhm.
place. The taxes that are made on monies made on Wall Street. There's certain level of accountability for that. It's not the change that when we did Occupy Wall Street,
Mhm.
as a person for the UFT back. This is before 2010,
Right.
during George Bush's time
Mhm.
as president, where we had this. So for those of you who don't remember how many years ago, so we're talking close to 17, 18 years ago. There have been change, right? And there have been constant talk about where we
Mhm.
need to be. So those are something that we're looking at as well.
So and to that point too, and this last one I'm gonna make still, right? Uh yes, definitely good that the changes make, and I'm looking at even then compared to now, and even looking at what happened in COVID, and even when markets were down, and you still had billionaires becoming even richer. Like even now, they're so much more richer right now, and with the AI craze, their riches are gonna still increase. The way they navigate around the taxes, right? And so even we'll talk about that part later with Biden and the IRS audit in itself, but just looking at what's going on in the markets right now, and you have people who are struggling even right now, but people who are above the poverty line, they're able to fend for themselves still though. And some people still kind of like, you can make 100K a year right now and you're still gonna be struggling. Things are just so up high. But let's go to commercial and then we bring on our guests. All right.
Call Howard Housing Solution today for all your real estate needs. Sellers, we can get top dollar for your home, and our vast network of professionals can facilitate your move and help you purchase your dream home in another state. Buyers, we have a pulse on the market and can get you in a home quickly. Property owners, we can manage your property efficiently and allow you peace of mind. So why wait? Call Howard Housing Solutions today at 646-825-5560 for your sale, purchase, or property management needs. Conveniently located in East New York, Brooklyn. You can come to us at 577 New Lots Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, or we can visit in the comfort of your home. Call Howard's Housing Solutions today at 646-825-5560. Howard Housing Solutions. Real estate simplified.
Want to get your personal income tax, business corporate tax, self-employment tax, quarterly tax, payroll tax, or sales tax filing done professionally?
Yeah.
Call U.S. Bear LLC 718-676-0519 and take the worry out of your personal and business life. Tax compliance issues should be left to the pros. So when you want your business to grow, call the pros because a successful business matters. U.S. Bear LLC also handles accounting, bookkeeping, business startups, consultation, real estate, and many more services. Call U.S. Bear LLC 718-676-0519 and ask for Howard DaCosta, CEO, to book a 1-hour evaluation at no cost to you. Take remote control of all your needs and U.S. Bear LLC will follow your lead. Want to work but don't have a social security number? Yes! Find out about getting a tax ID to pay your taxes. Call U.S. Bear LLC or log on to www.usbear.com. Team up for success.
Footprints Cafes now offers Caribbean flatbreads, available in 11 mouth-watering flavors, including favorites like jerk chicken, curry chicken, honey garlic chicken or shrimp, ackee and saltfish, garlic cheese, and more. Our flatbreads are satisfying and can be enjoyed by the entire family. So make it a flatbread night at Footprints and enjoy the fusion of flavors. These flatbreads are so good, you might just have to fight for that last piece. Good thing there's plenty more where that came from. Get yours today from any of our Footprints locations. Want to enjoy your flatbread at home? Then order on Uber Eats and get it delivered right to your door. We'll see you there.
All right, Dion, thumbs up if you're ready. All right, let's go. Surprise.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening. How are you? How are you?
Well,
How's everything going?
Everything is well. Excited to be here.
Welcome to the village.
Yes, yes. I was trying to.
I'm more than excited.
In the
Everybody else is
chat.
excited. I'm more than excited.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
What do
Roderick, I used to see you at meetings, at Brooklyn South safety meetings.
Really? Oh yeah, yes.
You were an AP and I was a dean. So I said, wait a minute, I know this face.
Yes. With Craig Edwards.
Yes,
and
yes.
the
Those
likes.
were the days, right?
All right. Yeah, the good old days. No,
Exactly. The good old days. So it's good to see you.
Likewise.
Join.
I happen to be in the car today, so until I
That's
get home
fine.
in another hour, and then we get a better view and everything else.
That is fine. I look. You here? That's all that matters, right?
That's
Exactly.
it.
You here?
That's it. Hi, Miss Dion.
Hi, how are you, Dr.
Please,
Bryant?
please, can you introduce yourself to our wonderful listeners? We're excited. You got a great background, looking beautiful on screen. So
Thank
please
you.
introduce
you.
yourself to our listeners.
All right. So I am Dion Jones. I am an educator. I actually work for New York City Public Schools. I am a district math coach.
Oh,
I used to be an assistant principal and supervising special education. And I used to also be a special education teacher. And so I'm just excited about my professional background and how it aligns with my personal background, because I also have a 16-year-old son with Down syndrome, and he was diagnosed with autism at the age of 5.
oh wow.
As a result of his diagnosis, what happened was, he now struggles with sensory processing disorder. So I started an organization called Uniquely Me Creative Arts, and it's for special needs children, where we focus on helping to aid their sensory processing disorder through creative arts, drama, music, dance, and visual arts. And simultaneously, I bring in behavior therapists and occupational therapists to work with the families. And we meet at my church at Bethany Baptist every second Saturday of the month. And the children, they have their own sensory room, and the parents also have their own room, so that, the parents have like a respite time, if you will, to be able to get the resources and strategies that they need to support their children.
So, for some of our listeners who don't understand what a sensory room is, can you elaborate a little bit more? And thank you for all that you do as an educator, as a parent, and also an activist in the community. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. I tell folks all the time, I'm on God's assignment and living in my purpose. And, it's a blessing that my assignment is in a professional world and personal world. So thank you for that.
Awesome.
So sensory processing disorder, it occurs when people struggle with their environment and processing, the environment. For example, certain children may not like certain textures of food, right? So we now have to create a sensory diet for them, not a necessarily food diet, but strategies to support them to be able to tolerate those different textures, such as mouth massages, right? Giving them, certain oral motor stimulation prior to, trying certain textures. Certain children have, they struggle with certain touching, right? Tactile. So what we do is we now give them strategies to support them with struggling with tactile. So affects our sensory processing disorder, affects how we live. And children with special needs, some of them may be nonverbal. And when they have these reactions, let's say if an environment is too loud, they may, have an outburst or a meltdown. And we don't want that to happen. So essentially, in layman's terms, if you will, sensory processing disorder is when you struggle to, adapt to your environment through your senses.
Awesome.
I wanted to, when you introduced yourself and you spoke about some of the things, like sometimes, as coming from education, a lot of times people don't know that we ourselves have our own demons, our own things that we have to work on. So sometimes, when we talk to parents, they don't understand that we can identify with the situation that you're in. So I'm glad that you're talking about it, because you can identify with the position that you've taken as a special education teacher, as an AP dealing with special education, because you can identify, you can say to somebody, I know what you're going through. So you're able to speak to them from the human side, and that helped you, that propelled you to say, hey, what else can I do to help our parents in the community? And before I ask or say anything, you have to be commended for that and what it is that you're doing.
That is so true. That is so true. I can actually connect with you. I used to be assistant principal for special ed, so I understand completely. And automatically, people might think, oh, there's different levels of autistic children. There's some that's high functioning autistic. There's some that needs more support. There's some that adapt to different types of environment. So it's so many different elements of that too. And sensory, now some schools are starting to create sensory room, even for our students who are not identified as disabled or have an IEP. Everyone needs some form of area or avenue to meditate.
Exactly, to help them regulate, right? And that's a form of why we use sensory diets to support, folks that struggle with sensory processing disorder, because it's not just children, right? And we all have our own sensory processing disorders. If we smell something, we don't like that pungent smell, so we'll stay away from it. But we know how to regulate it and not to have an outburst or a meltdown when we smell something different or we taste something different. So that's where the difference comes in with children with special needs.
Mhm.
I have to disagree a little bit with you, Miss Dion. When I just got out of the hospital, I had sensory needs. I used to go fit. I used to go fit, like when they gave me the food I couldn't eat and I was hungry, and I couldn't eat like thick meat, like the meaty part of any food. I couldn't eat it. So I would throw a fit. So I'm not sure about the adults not throwing fit. I'm just putting
But
that out
listen,
there.
you could do, but children sometimes they throw fits, and we can't really necessarily regulate it. So sometimes you can control yours a little bit better. But I know we do have our own adult fits. But sometimes when we have a child that comes into an environment that's too loud, they can't adjust as quickly as we can.
Absolutely. I mean, people. What I mean, I say things because sometimes we as adults, if you didn't do some of the studies, right? That's why we have to do a better job of listening, right? Because we didn't do the study. So sometimes, like, I will say, like what I just said, we as adult, we never took care of it when we were younger. So and nobody told us, right? Because we didn't have that.
Undiagnosed.
So that, right. And so it's the same thing like with a lot of things, like people with dyslexia and behavior problem, they become adult. And then we're sometimes ashamed because, hey, we grew out of it, or we learned to work with it, right? That we don't want to help our kids. And that's a problem, right? You have to be able to say, hey, I struggled, and because I struggled, I don't want you to struggle. So what can I do to help? And so on that, what you're doing is perfectly a beautiful, more than a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And you know what it reminds me of? When you go to a nursing home, you're dealing with all the elderly. They have different sensory issues and different sensory, but no one takes time, like you mentioned, Roderick, to actually, many people were not diagnosed with things. A lot of people have different challenges and different specialty inside of them. We're all unique, and we bring. Yeah, we're all unique. I might not like something, and you might consider that the disability, and it might not be. So that's what makes me special. That's what makes this child special. That's what makes each of us.
And that's what it is, right? Like a sensory processing disorder, it shows up in different ways for different people, right? Some children, like they have with the auditory. Some children, they have interoceptions. For example, when the body is able to tell you that it's a item is hot or cold, or you have to use the restroom. My son is 16 years old, and he didn't become potty trained, if you will, until he was 14. And that's because the body was not telling him, hey, you need to use the bathroom at this time, and this is how you do it. We had to literally work on that and teach him and, be consistent. And it took 14 years, but, it happened, and that was what he struggled with. One of the issues that he struggled with having sensory processing disorder and being autistic with Down syndrome.
Now,
Tell us a little bit. I know Dr. Brian touched on it a little bit, but in your specialty, tell us a little bit about what the spectrum is. What is that? When people talk about the spectrum, you're on a spectrum. What does that mean for a lot of parents who can't have it?
Right. So when you look at autism spectrum disorder, it's a they're using a new term now, if you will, neurodivergent, right? Right. It's called a neuro for the brain, divergent differences. So, that's what happens with children who have sensory processing disorder and autism. It's a wide range, right? You can be on the lower spectrum, if you will, and you can be on a higher spectrum with autism, and you can be able to function at a job and, just have certain sensory processing challenges, or you can be nonverbal, So there's a full range of what autism looks like and what some of the behaviors that come with autism, because with autism, that's what we really are doing. We're addressing social behaviors.
Mhm. Now, I think you mentioned your son was diagnosed when he was 4?
He was 5.
5. Okay. So what were some signs that you knew that, hey, you know what? Let me go and figure out if he needs some more support, or what I need to do, or how can we support him more? How did you know? What were some key signs?
Well, the key signs, aside from, he's still nonverbal, right?
Okay.
So, some of the key signs, he had a lot of stemming and repetitive behaviors. Like he just would keep rocking, keep making, like, doing stemming. And that's a sign of autism. And so I had him evaluated, and they use a manual called a diagnostic, it's called a DSM-5, right? And that determines whether you have autism. So they use this manual, if you will, to diagnose him with autism based on what I told him. Like, he's not doing, making these certain milestones. Although he has Down syndrome, he's also stemming a lot, right? And I had to pay attention to that, and he was diagnosed with autism.
You brought up the word Down syndrome, and
no, she didn't say Down syndrome. She said diagnostic.
No, she said Down syndrome.
Okay.
I heard her. At the end, at the tail, right then and there. And I wanted to, because people always associate Down syndrome with autism, and it's not one and the same. It can lead, but Down syndrome is it's a syndrome, right? So syndrome is more or less a disease, right? That can cause life, right? Whereas being artistic, a person can live for an eternity, right? With autism being on the spectrum. So there is a difference, but one can, you could happen to have both, right? As in the case of your son, that's what you were saying as well. I didn't know if that's what you.
Right. So Down syndrome is a chromosome abnormality. And the scientific name or the medical term, I should say, for Down syndrome is trisomy 21. And why is it called trisomy 21? It's because on the 21st chromosome, there should only be 2 chromosomes there, but there's a third one that attaches, and that's what causes the developmental delays in those physical characteristics. If you notice, children or not even children, but people who have Down syndrome, they have enlarged tongues. It looks like, if you will, they have like those flat face features, and that's because Down syndrome is a chromosomal abnormality.
Right, and that could cause, again, it can cause different reactions, right? Reaction is not really the right word, but it can cause different issues with different people. Everyone is not in the same.
Right. And just like children with Down syndrome, it's similar with children who have autism, right? Because there's difference. There's some children with Down syndrome that, they work and they do what they can live very independent lives. And you have some children with Down syndrome, they need 24-hour care. And 24-hour support, like my son. My son also has a healthcare para at school because he can't navigate the environment, right? They didn't want to give him a behavior para because sometimes behaviors, they change. And then if the behavior gets better, then they take the para away. But he needs a para consistently because he cannot navigate the environment safely. But you have someone his age that I also know, they run up and down and they play and they come in as they go, and it's okay, right? God give us different abilities and different people in our lives to support those abilities. So similar to autism, there is Down syndrome.
I know that you want to talk a lot about the program, but this is a very interesting conversation for me, especially for parents who are suffering. So I know that I want to ask a few questions, and at any point, if you think that you can't answer it, it's fine, right? I'm not there for that. I'm talking about
there's a question on the screen, and that can go
go ahead with the question on the screen.
Can you explain the term stemming?
So stemming is when you're doing a let's say a repetitive behavior. Let's say maybe you can be rocking back and forth and you're just constantly doing that specific behavior. That's pretty much how I can, explain what stemming is, and for it's like a self-stimulating behavior. You do, and sometimes you may do certain sounds. Like my son, he would scream like consistently, and that's a part of stemming. Moving certain objects back and forth, like he'll take a door and constantly wants to open it back and forth. That's a form of stemming. It's a way to help them control their environment, and that's what soothes them, if you will.
Calm them down. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you.
So going forward with my question to you, well, I have two questions. So I'm going to ask them one at a time. The first one is, you said that you recognize, your son got diagnosed at age 5.
Mm-hmm.
What took you so long? And so for parents, do you think that was the right time? Or do you think that there were identifiable features from earlier that, you should have gone to, and who could a parent go to in that situation? So,
Well, I'm going to be quite honest with you, and I'm going to give you guys a tidbit, right? So Elijah has, with Down syndrome, he's had severe cognitive delays, right? So and with the autism, he started the stemming. So that's when he started to do it at that time. But what happened was, when I spoke to a psychologist, right, they said on his IEP, we want you to put down autism, because what happens is you get more services when you have a diagnosis of autism. So one being the reason he started to exhibit these, behaviors of autism at that time. So I had to address it at that time. And I could have went either way, right? He could have been diagnosed with multiple disabilities, which is a classification of Down syndrome. But with the autism, now I get different services. Now he gets ABA therapy in the house, which is a therapy that is used to address autism. It's called applied behavior analysis. Elijah actually has a therapist that comes to the home, and I wouldn't be able to get that with a Down syndrome diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
I would only be able to get it through an autistic, diagnosis, because that's who supports children with autism, is ABA therapists, because there's no cure for autism. It can only be addressed through therapy. So one of the reasons why I've went forward.
Thank you. You actually kind of. I would let you more or less kind of got to that second point of the question about services that are offered when diagnosed, because a lot of parents, affordability. Oh, I can't afford that. Oh, I can't do this, that. Where the system in itself, there's certain things that is afforded you within the system. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit for parents who are struggling with, I'm afraid, right? I'm afraid to do things.
I think, you unfroze, because I think you were frozen for a second. And you know what? If a child is identified at a younger age, they can get early intervention at a very young age, and that's free to them.
And those are some of the resources, right? Early intervention is from 0 to 3 years old. Now, once you have your early intervention services, right? And then, so those are educational services, right? Now, when we talk about services to come into the home, now you may want to apply for Medicaid. Once your child has a diagnosis of autism, you can apply for a straight Medicaid, if you will. And that's almost like the American Express, if you will, for resources to be able to get an ABA therapist to come to your house. You can also do it through private insurance, but sometimes you have to leverage which would be more beneficial. Am I going to use Medicaid, or am I going to use my private insurance? And if families would like to, they don't have Medicaid services for their child, they can sign up with the Office of People with Developmental Disabilities. I'll put it in the chat, and then they will give you an evaluation so that you can get these services.
And like
Is that service attached to the child or to the parent?
That service is attached to the child, but the parents benefit because, for instance, I have a service called ComHab, which is community habilitation. So I have someone that comes to my home that can take Elijah out into the community. I also have a service called Respite because, and we're also in Mental Health Awareness Month, being a parent of a child with any parent, if your child has special needs or not, we know it can be stressful, right? And so, right. So, a child with special needs, right.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm entitled to respite services because I need more of a break than the average person.
Mm-hmm.
So you have those services are very, beneficial. Elijah still uses a pamper at night. I get those services.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get Pampers and wipes and just whatever you need. If I needed a washing machine, I could get that.
Wow.
And you know what? I needed to add to what you're saying because there's different organizations throughout that provides these services to parents, families that have children with disabilities, but autistic parents, family more. So you can get services either early in the morning, 7 days a week. So even though school is out, guess what? They still come to your house to provide those services and support you.
And you need it.
And just, it's not every organization, but there are certain organizations that actually you have a certain identification, you have Medicaid support. Guess what? They'll come in either in the morning, nighttime. You might tell them, hey, on the weekends, I need you to come early in the morning, take care of my child. So it's as though you have a private care person for your child so that the parents can get a break, their family can get a break. Because it is, when you have a child with disability, it's not only that child, it's the entire family that's impacted by that. So the mental health, like you mentioned, it's mental health. Not only do you have to check on the child, but the parent, the siblings. Some siblings might feel as though they're left out. And that's another part. If you have children, multiple children with disability, the one who is receiving the services is getting the services, but the other child might start acting out because they're like, hey, I'm not getting any attention. So
that's what we encourage at UMCA, to bring your typical developing child so that they can also learn how to deal with not only their sibling but other children who have special needs. And we also partner with the Explorers, Zeta Phi Beta. They have a youth organization, the Kappa League, and these are typical children, but we want them to be able to understand, how to build relationships with children who have special needs. So it's very important to, keep that inclusion going.
That is true. That is so true. You mentioned that this service, you brought it to your church.
Yes.
Can you elaborate more on that? What made you bring it to the church? What was that point, and how, it's great that your church opened the door and said, yes, we are supporting that. Tell us the story.
So I'll tell you the story. So I have been a member of Bethany Baptist Church since I was a little girl. I was a daisy there, did, dance, and you name it. So for me to be able to come to my pastor and let my pastor know, I have this burning desire to start this organization because the community needs it. It was just an honor. And for him to say yes and provide, the space, it's a blessing. And when we think about church and the community, that is where we convene to organize. When we think about the civil rights movement, we went to the church and we went and we mobilized there, and we, activated and did what we needed to do in order to close the gaps. And that's what UMCA is doing. We're mobilizing, organizing to close gaps for children with special needs. So it's an honor to be able to have that alignment to my home church.
Amen to that. And where's your church located for those?
Yes. 460 Marcus Garvey Boulevard, Brooklyn, New York, 11216. And we're between Decatur and McDonough Streets in Bed-Stuy.
Now, what if a parent says, "Hey, we want to find out more. How can we get connected to what you guys are doing?"
So you can follow us on Instagram, UMCA NYC. You can also visit our website, umcanyc.org. And to stay connected, we constantly updated the website. We also, constantly are visible on Instagram, because that's what Instagram is for, to let the folks know. But you'll be able to stay in tune to what UMCA is doing.
UMCA NYC on Instagram?
Yes, UMCA NYC.
Okay.
On
Our
Instagram.
conversation's not done. I just wanted to put it out there. So if you want to see it.
Is this my exit?
No, not at all. Not at
I
all.
was just putting it up on the screen. So
No. And then the website is the same.
Is that correct? Do you see it?
UMCA NYC, yes. And then the website is UMCA. Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Who can participate in your group?
Children, any parent that have a child with special needs, 0 to 18. And the reason why I say that is because my son is 16, but there's different levels. So chronologically, he's 16, but cognitively, maybe about 10, which is okay, right? So that's why it's opened up for 0 to 18, so that we can provide those supports.
By the way, what if you have an older child? I mean, while you mentioned the age 18.
I was just going to ask the same thing.
Yeah, don't worry. You went in my head and you took some of my questions. I'm returning the favor. What if you have what happens then?
If you have a child
over 18?
Well, I guess it wouldn't be a child, right? If it would be
right, and we can't support, right? So what I would do is I would refer them to Include NYC, which is a great resource. I don't know if you guys want to put that there. Include NYC, it gives you just a plethora of transition services, because at 18, children, not even 18, at 21, they'll leave the DOE and they'll go, or whatever school system they're in, and they'll go to a day have program. So we can't accommodate, it all, right? So there's other places that can support children that are, or adults that are 18.
Can you say that one again?
Include, INCLUDE NYC.
Here's a question. Roger, can you lower your music, please?
I'm not playing music.
That's me.
So what's the best way to handle a child who's stemming? You have to, again, that's a part of the sensory, right? So some children, they may need a deep pressure hug. Some children, you may need to change their environment, right? So it varies what you can do for that child. So, and it varies what their stemming is. So you just have to find out what it's causing, not what's causing the stem, but just try to change their environment. Give them a toy, if you will. So instead of them rocking back and forth, they're now playing. That's why they have these fidget spinners and, different sensory tactile toys. Sometimes you can use a weighted vest to give a child a deep pressure to stop them from stemming. So there's various ways, and it's called a sensory diet. If you Google what a sensory diet is, it'll show you different ways you can support your child that's stemming.
And these services are provided if you, Michael, continuing to question the dialogue is that these services, there are services that can provide to help you with this if you were to, move forward with some level of diagnosis. Is that correct?
Say it. I didn't say it broke up. Say it again. I'm sorry.
He was asking that these services are only provided if the child is diagnosed as having any form of disability.
Yes.
Yeah, don't be afraid. Let me tell you, there's so many, and it's so funny because in our West Indian culture, a lot of people have stigma about being identified, and that is being identified is not a negative thing. ladies and gentlemen, is the best thing because you're getting the support your child needs. Not only but that, there's avenues and doors that open for them.
And that's why it's an exclusive to the special needs community, because UMCA, we provide that safe space so that parents who are like-minded and where they're struggling with various, issues that their children may be having, we can come together and support one another.
I just thought of something, and I'm wondering if you guys are doing it amongst the churches. Is there a collaboration, right? Is your church reaching out to your church pastors, or you being the leader reaching out to other churches? Because a lot of times, I always blame and give church credit, right? I do both, right? And in fairness, right? So a situation like this, a lot of us Black folks go to church, right? We go to church on Sundays. We are bad as heck Monday through Friday, but we go to church on Saturday or Sunday.
Today is National Prayer Day, Come on now.
Right. So the question that I am asking is, do you guys collaborate with other churches, reach out, send notices of events that you're doing to increase visibility? And how does that work?
Absolutely. So on, I believe it was April 27th, I spoke at Mount Ararat Baptist Church. That is in Ocean Hill, Brownsville, spreading the word of autism and also spreading, what UMCA is doing. We also, we send out our information to churches. I would love to, I've even had, a church ask me if I can do the program at their church. Unfortunately, we don't have the capacity at this time, but I would like to have it in multiple churches, right? So that we can continue to collaborate and spread the word.
I'm going to go a little further with what you said. Beyond just churches, different denominations. I know of a wonderful rabbi who's doing the work that you're doing, but it goes all the way beyond 21 years. So collaborating only bring more power and forces, and just more individuals can actually be serviced throughout the tri-state, not just Brooklyn, but in Long Island, in Bronx, in Queens. So there's power in unity.
Absolutely. And we're already a small population, if you will, right? So, if we can go to a mosque, if we can go to, wherever,
synagogue, right?
Synagogue. It does not matter, because it can't be separated by denomination, and that's also even with politics. People, that's not my district. No, bring them over. It's not a district, organization. It's not just a Bethany. It's, if you need support, you come, right? If we can go and spread it and be in other facilities. Absolutely. And that's a vision that we do have, is to be able to be in different types of settings, right? Not just churches.
So I'm going to invite you to my education committee. Maybe I shouldn't. You say no? Invite you to. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Are you there?
He froze again.
I'll come back. You're back.
Can you hear me? Okay. So
Now
I'm gonna take the liberty of taking the liberty of inviting you to my community board, and talk about it, because because I'm not familiar with it, right? And a lot of parents are not familiar with it, and it gives us a great opportunity to have this discussion on a broader scale, like you said. So I'm going to take that, invite you to our community board. I'll discuss with my education chair, and see what can be done to work on talking about that with parents.
Absolutely. I accept you let me know, and I will definitely, be there because it's very important that we stick together.
That is
Absolutely,
true.
absolutely.
Hey, John, thank you for joining us. We have our wonderful, wonderful guest, Dion, on.
Hi,
Talking
Hey,
about
Deanna, how are you?
how you
the
doing?
work that she's doing in the community and churches, supporting families with supporting families of children with autism, but not only children, but also adults who are the family who are dealing with this, and the resources that she created and brought
Mhm.
to her church and is spreading throughout New York City. Come on now.
Speaking into existence. Thank you, Dr. Bryant.
I'm excited to have her on, and she's also an educator, ladies and gentlemen. You know,
Yes.
educating not only in the school district but also in the community, at church, and at home. So John, this is Dion.
Yeah.
So even
Well,
though last month
Thank you.
Woo! We missed autism week, last month, but it goes on beyond autism week because also our mental health, those dealing with children with disability, any form of disability at all, family
right.
with disability, adult children, whoever it is, it takes a toll on you. And how do you
Yes.
deal with that? What are some support that you provide to parents, and how do you support parents trying to deal and navigate the fact that, hey, I have to deal with this, I have to deal with life? What would you say?
So that's what we do. We provide that safe space, and not only with the spaces, we're bringing in behavior therapists, occupational therapists, speech therapists. This month for Mother's Day, we have a yoga therapist who's also a physical therapist. So bringing in experts in the field to give families strategies on how to support their children. That's, the way we can. And sometimes, I'll be honest with you, we'll have the therapist there and they're giving, great strategies, but our conversations get so organic, and we start off maybe talking about toilet and we go to puberty. There's crying, there's laughter. So just providing that safe space along with, experts in the field to give them real, diagnose strategies to support their children.
Mm.
That's
So
awesome.
it's a twofold program.
And that's powerful, my friend. That is powerful.
Yeah, and one of the reasons I struggle as a young parent, I had my son when I was 22 years old, right? And I didn't even know he was going to be born with Down syndrome. And when he was born, I had to, figure it out, if you will. And I had to lean on people. I had to find networks. I had to go and do research. And I found solace and I found comfort with folks who are like-minded and say, hey, is your child doing XYZ? Because and we have those conversations, and we support each other and we figure it out. So, and I know that I would benefit from it. So why not be able to provide that space, and especially in your home church?
Exactly. They get the word and they also get the comfort in many ways.
It's right there, right? So it's a blessing.
I think a couple of your sorority.
Who's that?
Hold on, let's go back. Oh no, where did it go? Oh no, Mr.
And actually, my daughter is on Brianna Hall. That's one of my former students from PS 308 in Bed-Stuy. I used to teach at PS 308, and she's now 25, graduate of Norfolk State University. She's a social worker, and she's on. So just building and keeping those. Said something in the chat, so I had to big up.
Roderick, that's you. Your mic.
And my cousin is on as well. That's the sorority. She's a Zeta Phi Beta.
Okay. Well,
and that's important, right? Having those family on to support you, leaning, and it takes a village. This work is not done in silo. And that's one of the reasons UMCA, we partner with a lot of organizations. We partner with Patrol Borough Brooklyn North, Community Affairs Bureau, The Parks Department, we're doing a program with them in July and August. Coming up, we're doing a Cars for Dads with the Community Affairs Bureau and a social auto club organization. So, that's what helps when you have community organizations helping out another community organization. That subgroup that community organization is helping, it benefits. We can't do this work alone, right?
No.
So I'm grateful for the partnerships. Zeta Phi Beta, they were there at a UMCA event. Kappa Leagues, they were also there. Again, what happened when they were there? The event was better. The families, they got more.
That is
We
true.
have to be able to stick together.
That is true. So, tell me about the research. Is there research on people with SPD?
So, well, the research is 5 to 16.5% of the general population have sensory processing disorder, right? But when you come to the autistic population, it's 80 to 100% of the autistic population struggling with sensory processing disorder. And that's why, it's so important to address it, because children and people who have autism, they can't handle and deal with this challenge the way typical developing people will.
Now, you actually worked in special ed.
Yes.
In schools, do you notice a lot of kids who show symptoms of autism but are not diagnosed? Or do you come across that often?
Yes. And, what I do as a mother, right, with the autistic child, I tell them, like, listen, I think you may want to get them an evaluation. I'm noticing you have to be very delicate in your approach, right? And one of the pluses that I have is I'm coming to you with experience, right? I'm not coming to you as an outsider, if you will, as just simply your child's educator. I'm coming to you with facts like, listen, I went through this, and if we don't address it early on, like early intervention is so important, because the earlier we address certain struggles, the better off it is in order to help them to develop. This is why, it's very important to be able to have that conversation with parents. It's time to get an evaluation.
When it is a delicate conversation to have with parents. You come up with, what do? You walk up with notes, you make a phone call. What do you do just to, especially like Dr. Brian said, with our Caribbean parents and Black parents,
Well,
because we have this expression of saying, "Me pitney in just too bad." We say that all the time, right? So how do you make a delicate situation lighter?
Relationships matter, right? Relationships, that's 95% of your job as an educator, and building those relationships with parents and building that trust. They're more receptive to what I am telling them. And, sometimes I even go as far as, look, let me show you my son. Like, this is him, and this is why. And once they see that, some of those barriers break down, and I let them know, like, if you try to, sweep this under the rug, what's going to happen is it's going to progress. You have to be able to address it and let them know that we're going to address it together. You're not alone in this.
That is true. A lot of parents, like you said, you said a key. Education is a relationship business.
Oh yeah.
Especially
customer service.
Not only the child, you're not only educating the child. Every child that comes into a school building, that's their family you're touching. That's their community that you're touching. So, approach with care and lightly, and love. That's so important.
I always say that you have to
Go
lead
ahead.
with love. When you lead with love, you get so much more. And so, you know, being able again to have those personal connections and being able to have those trust and relationships with families is important. It makes it more easier to help children and help families because now they're going to go and get the resources. I even help my colleagues. Like, it's not like, listen, like I said, we all in this together and we have to stick together because we're already a marginalized group. And you know, so when you say marginalized, it has such a negative connotation, right? But it's the reality. You can't go in every single bodega if you have a wheelchair, right?
That's true.
And this is, you can't go into every single train station if you have visual impairments. Accessibility is still not there. It's getting there, right? We're trying, but we are a marginalized group.
That's true. Karen wrote something very important. System need accessibility for people with autism, individual inclusion, standards for autism spectrum. New York need a medical and health plan for autism and special community training. One thing I'm going to say about this, because I have family members who have autism, and that's severely disabled. New York State provide one of the best support system throughout all the different states. Georgia doesn't have the support system that New York has. Like, a lot of people complain, oh, New York's not doing this. No, a lot of places do not provide the type of care, support organization like yours that come along to build not only the children, but their family. So when you come across an organization like yours, embrace it, because many other states and many other parents in different states would love to have what it is that you're offering.
Yes, it's true. I say that to people all the time. Like, you know, I can't move out of another state. And the reason why is because the resources that I receive in New York is I'm not, you know, there's not, those resources are not there.
And not only New York City. You know, New York State, yes, they have, but you have to advocate. New York, Long Island, yes, they have, but it's not the same quality as New York City. So there's an extra creme de la crop that you get with New York City that you would not get
and that's because the advocacy is strong in New York City with the special needs community, which is great, right? And so we all benefit from that. And so I'm planted here for a while.
All right now. Again, how can people reach you? I see it on the screen.
Yes, that's how they can reach me.
Church and meet you.
And please come out May 11th. We are having yoga for moms in honor of Mother's Day, and children, they're making their Mother's Day gifts right there on the spot. So mothers get to walk away with their Mother's Day gifts. We have our Cars for Dads in June, and we have our park events. So we are loaded and ready to serve the community, and just please come out. The address is 460 Marcus Garvey Boulevard. That's in Brooklyn, New York, 11216. It's at Bethany Baptist Church.
Bethany!
Yes.
What is it? What is
her pastor name? See, we keep saying Beth. Let me tell you my pastor. My pastor is Reverend Dr. Adolphus C. Lacey. And he's coming up on his 10-year anniversary with Bethany. So I don't know if you guys know about Bethany, but we had the historical Dr. William Augustus Jones Jr.
That's right.
So Reverend Lacey has come and he's taken on that civic engagement and that social action in the footsteps of Dr. Jones. So you guys please come out and support Bethany Baptist Church. And again, my pastor is coming up on his 10-year anniversary. So check out the website to support the 10-year anniversary.
You know, I was just about to ask you what your pastor's name was. That's actually
Reverend Dr. Adolphus C. Lacey.
I mean, it's like you and Dr. Bryant are like all over my head today.
Yes.
Reverend
Dr.
Dr.
Dr. Adolphus C. Lacey.
Yes.
Adolphus C. Lacey. First of all, kudos to him and the
Yes.
church community in receiving, embracing, and housing this wonderful organization for the community.
Yes.
So
Thank
shout
you,
out,
Pastor.
special shout out. to
Special,
him.
special shout out. So thank you.
Mhm.
You know, I also want to thank you for your work, right? Because you're doing this, right? You're doing this.
Oh, look at that.
Thank you, Miss Linda.
Oh, look at that. The village. This is one of the best, capitalized, best visiting speakers. All
I'm
right.
honored. Thank you.
And by the way, just for the record, Wenda is a great speaker in herself, in her right.
Okay.
So
Listen, I love to connect.
you know, I just want to thank you. I don't want us to wrap up without me reiterating. You are a district-wide math coach, right? Math leader. You are
And kudos for that.
You're an EA, so you're an admin. So
Yes, District 17. Shout out to District 17. Yes, Shanine Lindsay. Shout out to her too.
tell Shanine first of
Product
all.
of 17. So
Oh,
all
17
right,
was the first district I ever worked in at 161.
me too.
Yeah.
That was my school. I
Dr.
was
Castro.
make sure when you-
Yes, yes.
Hey.
Yeah, exactly. Hey.
Sorry. We're on here. I'm
First of
sorry.
all, tell Shanine
We
tomorrow.
are.
Tell Shanine tomorrow that you had a great time, because I told Shanine that she needs to come on because District 17 is the bomb.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Right.
yes.
Also tell Rose.
The mayor.
Right. Rose. Tell Rose that we had a good time.
Yes,
I
will.
I want to thank you, right? So that work, I know, because I know when I need Rose to do something at Community Board 17, she's like caught up. District 17, I have so much work to do, especially her work with some of the schools in District 17 and her role. So I know that your role is not easy. And I was a former admin myself, you know that, because like you stated at the beginning, that we used to work together on safety. Safety is no joke. Right. The second thing is you're honest. You're upfront. You talk about your personal journey because you have the real life testimony. Like, I'm not just telling you about what's going on. I'm telling you that I'm living it. So not only do I have a long day at work, I have a long day at home. And on top of, and then thirdly, I not only do all of that, but you know what? I find time to come out and educate the community. I find time to go out and do that. So sometimes people think like community work is not necessary, but it is, right? It is very necessary, and you're making sure that happens. So I want to thank you for your work, for your program's work. Thank you for your pastor for respecting that and working through that with you. So God bless and thank you so much for joining us right here in the village.
Yes.
Thank you guys for having this platform. Like, this is amazing to be able to have this organic, like you said, genuine conversation and supporting people. So thank you guys. Thank the village. Thank you so much, John, Roderick. We reconnected. When I said, I know him. It's Dr. Brian.
And we've known each other for a long time.
We connected, Dr. Brian. I feel it. In fact, here comes Elijah right now. He's probably going to come over here in a minute, right? And say, you can say hi. So he's going to say hi.
Hello, Elijah.
Say hi.
Hey, Elijah.
Okay, that was it. Okay, all right. Thank you, sir.
But he loves his mommy. So there you go.
Yes. That's real love.
Yeah, Star Girl Road, thank you for your services and the impact you're making for children and their families with the type of diagnosis. And it's very difficult, right?
And wait. Being a math EA is no easy task, because math people say math and they run. So
and I will tell you,
you keep taking challenges from special ed to math, and oh my God.
So since we're here, I do want to lift up District 17 is having a STEM Expo. I also lift science as well for the district. So we're having a STEM Expo May 22nd at New Heights Middle School. And then we're also having a math slam where children in grades 3 through 8, they did a competition for the whole year, and the grand slam is at June 12th. And we're just solidifying the location now. Go over there and sit down. And so I just want to let you guys know that. So May 22nd and June 12th, please make sure you guys support our STEM fair and our STEM Expo and Math Slam.
Awesome. And thank you.
Yes,
have a great night.
All right, see you guys. All right.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
It's the impact of parents, right, getting involved with special education, with children with special need on the spectrum, right? So not just autistic children, but other children with, like learning disability, dyslexia, dysfunctionality, and all of these DIS conversations, DYS, not DIS, right? We have, those things that we have to work on. So, I appreciate her work as well, and makes me feel good that we're working really hard to ensure that things are getting done.
Yeah. So that's something. That is something. Like you mentioned, Roderick, not only do you take care of school, not only do you take care of home, but you're also taking care of the community. So big shout out to her and her church community for joining along on this journey of education. So that's something special. A lot going on, Hello, Mr. John. Welcome back.
Yes, and yes.
Yeah. Hey, JR, before I move on to a conversation I want to have, well, not really a conversation, just something I want to bring up. Can you text me that date again for the event in June, so I could put it on my calendar? I know we spoke about it, but I didn't remember it. Let me know about it. I just want to make a shameless plug. May 18th, Andre, you can put that up for me. May 18th at Meyer Levin, MEYER LEVIN. John, both mine and John's alma mater. The community board 17 will be hosting a spelling bee, for children from 2nd grade through 8th grade. And so, if you're interested in participating in the spelling bee, you can contact the community board directly, and you could get some information. The community board's phone number is 718-434-3072. I don't know if John put it up. And so the prizes are, wow, it's a nice prize. So the prizes are, you can win a laptop, a tablet, or a gift card for $75. As soon as I get the email address, I will send it to you so you can discuss it. So and I don't know if Gail is on the show to text the information in as well. So we'll find out, and before we close up, we'll get it out. John.
You.
Talking about politics a little bit. Do you think that it was appropriate? Why or why not for President Joe Biden to get up and say what he said today about?
What did Biden say? What did he say?
He complimented the protesters for their work, but also spoke about the dissent, right? The people who are doing it in a violent way.
Mm-hmm.
And he denounced those people.
Well, he should. This is a debate I had with my daughter. She went to Columbia and she was like, why? First of all, the president should resign because there's no reason that they should invite NYPD on the campus. People are protesting. And, you know, I told her I have no problem with people protesting, but at the same time, you need to have respect for the rights of others.
Yes.
You don't need to denigrate or use derogatory statements against those who are of the Jewish faith. You know, that's the problem, man. We just get, you know, it's one thing we talk about the civil rights movement, and when they protested, it was always, I would say, the majority of it was always very civil. You know what I'm saying? They never made it out to be, you know, any sort of violence. Violence was put upon them because what they were trying to do, and those things that were spewed against them, because what they were doing is non-violent stuff. But now when you have a combination of, it's fine, protest all you want to, but there's a level of decency, respect, and courtesy that you need to have for others. You know, when you want to protest in the middle of on the bridge or something like that, you're impeding those people who are just trying to go about their daily lives. I know you want to bring attention to it, but at the same time, once you impede those people are not going, they don't want to hear what you have to say. So you just have to be mindful of others. That's what I'm saying. Just be mindful of others. Be mindful and be open-minded to those who may not have the same views. This is the problem. We don't have a dialogue anymore with people. We talk at one another instead of just listening to what we have to say. And this is the biggest problem that we have.
Yeah,
If you're not spewing rhetoric that supports my position, then I don't want to hear anything from you. You know, it's, for instance, I listen to Fox News and the commentators, especially on Fox in the morning. It's just amazing the way they always. It's just like Joe Biden can't do anything good. You got an African American on the show who's the only token African American, and the only reason they put him on there is because to satisfy a quota. You know, they're not genuine and authentic in what they're doing and what they're espousing. That's why a lot of people don't really like media or listen to, print media or listen to these shows, because everybody has an opinion and so subjective instead of just being open-minded and letting people just understand what's going on. It's like the guy from Newsmax, Eric Bolin. Eric Bolin getting on the president because see the way he's eating his salad and just carrying on about stupidity. And this is, you know what it is? And if you think about it, those protesters are just emulating the dialogue that is going on a daily basis with all these talking heads and all these cable news networks who are just pitting one party against another party, one ideology against it. They are just manifesting that now. That's all it is. Because if anyone's responsible for the way these protesters are acting, it's those people who on cable news, who just espouse such hate and rhetoric instead of talking about what actually are the facts. Yes, what's going on in Gaza is atrocious. But at the same time, the people in Gaza need to understand Hamas has created a situation for them when they attacked Israel on the 7th. If you're going to attack somebody, attack those people in government or those people who you feel have the decision-making power. But when you're attacking innocent women and children, two wrongs don't make it right. They say, well, the Israelis have done it to us. But at the same time, right now, what's going on is Israel back was against the wall because people were seeing what was going on. But now with all these protests going on, it basically has bolstered Israel's position now. So
no, I take a somewhat opposite view.
Okay, go ahead.
Right, not completely, because there are a lot of things that you said that I totally agree with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, some things I definitely agree with, but here's what I disagree with. I've spoken about this before, where I feel that Benjamin Netanyahu is responsible for some of what is happening that happened in Israel. So as the prime minister, he was able to stop certain things, but because of his need, right? Like, it's like how I connected to former President Donald Trump. Donald Trump will say and do anything necessary to become president of the United States, right?
Correct. Okay.
That is his ambition, right? Yes. So if people are willing to fight, he doesn't say he's going to condone fighting, right? If they're willing to fight, so let it be, so that I can become president, right? The second thing is Hamas. Hamas is
Roderick, you're muted.
the second thing is that they're innocent lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
The innocent lives at stake.
Mm-hmm.
And war should not be about innocent lives, right?
Yep.
It should be about, it's just like we're going to wage war against illegal guns.
Mm-hmm.
If we're waging war against illegal guns, why are we waging war against people with guns? So the battle, right, or, certain things that you're battling. So you can't be inclusive of everyone. And that's what they're doing in the Gaza Strip. I don't care. I'm including you.
Yeah. And you have nothing to do with it. A newborn baby has
Right.
nothing to do with a war.
You
A
know,
pregnant woman who's in the hospital giving birth have nothing to do with the war happening. She just want to give birth to her child. That's it.
Right. And that to me is some of the problems that we encounter when we talk about this war, and why some people are fighting, right? Why some people are having the argument about Palestine.
You're right. But some concerning aspect of it is people coming from all over to cause chaos. I understand they're protesting, but also safety. Safety come into play. When you have, along with the students, a 60-year-old person that's been protesting every year for something different, it is alarming. What is your agenda? Are you just going to jump on the bandwagon to cause chaos? Are you really supporting them? What is it about? So it's very strange, but all you can do is follow along and see what happens. Just be safe out there. That's all I say. But you know what's surprising, Roderick? Talk about war and everything. The senator that actually, Congresswoman born and raised in Ukraine,
Yes.
put it against aid for her homeland. What is that about?
Well, that's a very easy thing, because I don't even want to talk about that. It literally is, she's a Republican and she's voting with her party. And so she, an ultra conservative Republican who says, I am voting for my party, with my party, and that's it.
Yeah, she said U.S. border security should be a greater priority than your homeland where you were born and raised. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, yes, because her argument is,
that they actually gave the money.
No, she's actually saying, I'm American now, and I'm a Republican, and I represent America. Yeah, but I too was shocked myself when I read that.
Victorious.
I don't want to talk about. I want to talk about something for people who try to do tax evasion. Right? You know, I don't know if you're aware, Dr. Bryant, that the government, IRS, is auditing more people now on their taxes. So they've increased the amount of auditing that they're going to do to people, that they're going to do to people, to who are trying to cheat the government, with their taxes. So a lot of people out there have to be aware, right? Have to be aware about what they're doing, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, when you go to your accountant, and you want that extra dollar because you're greedy, right? Or you're hiding money,
or you want 20,000 back in your return.
Yeah, you made 20,000 and want it all back. You're laughing. That I know people like that. They made $10,000 and expect to get $10,000 back.
Do they actually get the $10,000 back?
No, but they get a little bit more than they should get because, you know, child this, child that.
Are they really their child? Their children?
Yeah, that's another problem that people need to start buckling down on. If it ain't your child, don't claim them. You might have to start showing proof.
Oh my God. Really?
But, of course you have to show proof. I'm gonna have somebody come on to talk about the spelling bee in like 2 seconds because we only have like 1 minute left.
You know, what do you think about Marjorie Taylor Greene, the clown Republican who wants to oust now the new speaker?
Well, he's not gonna get ousted, but it shows that the Republican Party is in turmoil. Right? The Republican Party is in turmoil. But yes, still they have support, right? They have support.
Well, the Democrats mentioned that we're gonna stick with him. We're gonna vote him. We're gonna fight for him compared to the last speaker of the House.
Yeah. That's the only thing that bothers me, right? Like, why agree that you're gonna allow him to have the votes necessary not to be ousted?
But not the previous one.
But Kevin McCarthy, they said no.
Because I guess he showed to them he was a snake. And this one, because he voted the way they wanted to, they got him. Maybe that could be it. What do you think?
I think it's playing politics, like we always talk about.
We always play politics.
In America, you're playing politics, and so to me, playing politics is is foolishness, right? It's definitely foolishness. Do me a favor, pull up Benev. Pull up Benev comment for a quick second, and then I'm going to bring Gail on. Just start the spelling before. No, not that one. Biden is too old and doesn't care about what's going. I think that's a very strong comment, right? Because there are only two choices, right? So, are you saying, Benev, that we should vote for Donald Trump? Is that what you're saying? Because that's the only other option. You either vote for Trump or you vote for either Trump or Biden is going to be president, regardless of the age of Joe Biden, to care about America. And I don't agree with that. I think both people care about America. I just think they care about America in a different way, in a selfish way. Let me quickly bring on, hi, Marilyn, how you doing? All the way from England. Or Marshall. Or it is Marilyn. Yeah, my cousin from England. Thank you for joining us, Marilyn. Bring on Gail I could do it myself. I thought Andre was in the background. Hey, Gail, how you doing?
Hey, Rudy. I'm good. How are you?
All right. Dr. Grandison.
Hello.
Dr. Brian.
Hi, Dr. Brian. How are you doing?
Good, and you?
Good, thanks.
We have about 2 minutes if you want to talk about the spelling bee, how to get involved with it.
So Community Board 17 Youth and Education Committee is having a spelling bee on May 18th at Maya Levin junior high school. It is open to kids in grades 2nd grade to the 7th, 8th grade, depending on when they transition over to 9th grade.
So you're
And
talking about age, right? So what's the age? I think you mentioned age.
so I think it's like from 7 to 12,
13.
13. Yeah, around there. It's just a little tricky. But once we get the applications, we see with the, strictly if they're in 8th grade, then you're good. So
is this open to all of New York City? Where is it open
no,
to?
it's only open to Community 17 district. Blame my chairperson for that. But
Wow, that was a dig. That was a dig.
had to get
Yeah.
it in. Yes,
No.
but
Do they have to be, can they be charter student, Catholic students,
it
whatever?
is open to every student who either goes to school in the district or lives in the district. So in kind of a weird way that even children who live out of the district but do go to school within still have the opportunity to take part in it.
Okay. Fair
Right.
enough, fair enough.
And we have some great prizes. First prize is a laptop, Lenovo laptops. Second prize is a tablet. They're usually Samsung. And third prize is a $75 gift card. We give all, the students who participate a certificate of participation. And, we just ask everyone, like parents, you don't have to sign up through a school. You can do it on your own individually. We love when the schools come out. A couple of years ago, we had like the schools and the teams, and it was like, shouting and just clapping on their classmates and stuff like that. But it can be individuals, as well. So I'm just hoping that, everyone will try to take part in it. It's a really great opportunity for the kids in our community.
How did you get the prizes? How did you get the prizes?
So, I beg a lot at times, but I have no choice. But this is actually some merchandise that we had for last year that we didn't use. And, through some funding, through members of the community giving us, some funding. And also we had from the board, we were able to buy a number of these items and have them on hand for the students. Yeah. So, but we do accept donations as we have youth happening coming up. That's our big,
What's that? Youth happening. What is that? Tell us about it.
It's a day of entertainment and fun for all the youth. In Pottergate Park. We start from 10:30 to 4 o'clock. It's free if you have a talent, you want to entertain us. It is Thursday, August 1st.
Okay.
Daycares are welcome, after school programs, whoever.
Tell us again and again and again, because we don't remember.
I know.
Before summer start, we don't remember.
I'm going to make sure that I stick it on to Rudy, pin it on to his shirt so that he can at least come June or so, keep letting everyone knows what's happening with the Youth and Education Committee. But
I would like for you to bring the winners on to the spelling bee and you come back and talk about the youth happening because you're the boss for that. I'm just the chair of the board for now.
Wow, you're so humble. But
well, I'm talking. It's the truth, right? It's you're the one.
Humble. But you know what? That would be great because I love to showcase our kids and let them, get out there and people see like how talented our kids are and knowledgeable. So I would love to do that, to bring on the winners and let them, have their day.
Absolutely.
Ooh, here's a great question. How do they sign up for the spelling bee?
Okay. So there's a couple of ways. I can try to put the link on here, but I don't think it will really come out. But I will say call Community Board 17.
If you tell the link, Andre will put it up. Just tell Andre.
It's a very long link. So can I like email it to him after and have him put it up?
So the community board's number is, go ahead.
718-434-3072. And you can ask for Miss Lyons or Miss Frazier, and they will be able to get the information to you.
And it's scrolling on the screen, community board, the spelling bee, May 18. Here it is. Grades 2, second graders to 8th graders, contact 718-434-3072.
Oh, I didn't even see that it was up there.
It's
Oh,
right
that's
there.
that's
Is
what
the
he was trying
bomb
to tell me.
diggity. That's what it is. Andre's the bomb diggity.
All right, Andre.
Right. So,
Okay.
And
tomorrow-
Miss Frazier is who we
Miss
contact.
Frazier or Miss Lyons.
Lyons.
Yes. They'll be able, or whoever answered the phone, they'll be aware of the spelling bee.
And tomorrow, Roderick, your party. Your
Oh, yes,
party.
I do
your
have a little,
party,
my
your
domino,
party.
my domino people are doing some stuff to enjoy.
Support our grand leader.
Yes. So if you're free tomorrow, you want to come dance, come play dominoes, because I talk about dominoes all the time. Eat some good food, some drinks.
Where is it?
8815 Bedell Lane. I thought that Andre had the flyer to put. Andre, you want to quick up put up the flyer before we close, or?
8815 Bedell. Are you gonna be there?
Yes, I am.
So meet him in person, live and in person. Finally.
Yes.
Let's
I'll
go.
be there. I'll be there right around 9 o'clock. I'll be there. Right
Oh, wow. That means 10 o'clock. That means 10.
I'll be there right around 9.
Wait, what time does this thing start?
It starts at 6, but I won't be there at 6 o'clock. I just
So
promise.
3 hours later is when he shows up, ladies.
All right, so,
and
all right, you
gentlemen.
know what? Make it 8:30. How's that?
What about 8?
No, that's too early.
Oh, wow.
He has to make a grand entrance, ladies
There you
and
go.
gentlemen.
I'll be there.
So
at 8:30.
tomorrow, join our fearless leader. It's a fundraiser. It's a domino competition. It is going to be rocking and rocking and rocking. So
Yes, it is.
join him. What's the number? What's the address? 88 what?
8815 Bedell Lane. That's right.
Yeah.
If you're in Brooklyn and you know Remsen Avenue, it's right off Remsen Avenue in Brooklyn. Right off Remsen Avenue in Brooklyn. So hopefully to see some of y'all out there. Oh, by the way, don't worry about the fact that it says a fundraiser. I don't want people to think like,
Just come out.
right. It's coming out. It's coming out. You don't have to donate a single dime, right? You just come out, enjoy yourself, play some dominoes. Maybe I could set up a card table. You could play some cards or something, things like that. So come out and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, come on.
And
share
make sure you
that.
sign up for the Spelling Bee Community Board 17 and Youth Happening. Make sure all of that stuff, enjoy yourself. And what the guests talk about with special needs, make sure you follow up if you have a child with special
Yes,
needs.
please.
And all that good stuff. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching, viewing, sharing, participating on The Village. I am Roderick F. Daly, Rudy, your host.
I want to say happy birthday to
Go ahead.
my uncle. That always my prayer warrior uncle that comes down tomorrow is his birthday. So shout out to him. Yes, your person.
Yes, my person, the prayer warrior.
Yes.
It's not really a party. It's not really a party per se.
It's
I
a
didn't do it.
domino gathering.
It was my domino club that decided to do it, Tracy. It wasn't like I personally said.
Well, happy birthday, Tracy.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's your birthday. Happy
on my birthday weekend. Well, that's good. You start your birthday early, Tracy. Just start
happy
your
birthday, happy
Yeah,
birthday.
start it early. Come out. Bring Nicholas, right, and your grandson who's going to be part of the spelling bee, right. I missed that. You guys are writing right at the end as we're closing.
At least they're doing it.
Right,
So
Michelle.
upcoming spelling bee. All right.
All right, awesome. So make sure you show up and participate, right? Participate in the spelling bee. And I actually want to thank My 11, by the way, for
Hosting it.
agreeing to host it for their school and for the community overall. So I thank you, and everyone. God bless. Have a great evening.
Have a
Good night.
wonderful weekend. Be safe. Bye-bye.
Next week, or until tomorrow, or until the 18th, whichever one you choose. Thank you so much for joining us right here in the Village. God bless. Have a great evening.
Good night.
Good night.